Hey everyone, welcome on our 70th session of market research with me and Steph, and analysts from Strix Capital. And today we will be delving deeper into sentiment, into metrics which they offer. I think some of you have already seen our masterclass on previous week, where we with Brian from Santiment discover the platform. And this week we will start delving deeper into it from this week and going to others. So that's what we will start to do. Today we will cover several metrics which are Sentiment offers, and we will take a look at situation on Bitcoin and on Ethereum. So I will give floor to Steph, and then I will continue after him as well.
All right, thank you, Slava. Hey everyone, GM, how are you guys doing? I hope your portfolios are still up despite the recent market downturn. Our discussion for this week's market research is actually a sort of continuation from the past week's market research. We learned last week about sentiment, and for this week, we will try to make our own analysis based on the current market using the helpful data analytics platform that our friends in Sentiment created. Okay, let's start. I hope you can see my screen. So, just to give a brief review of what Sentiment is, Sentiment again is a cryptocurrency and blockchain focused financial market data and content platform. They provide traders and investors alike with metrics and tools to identify opportunities in the market. And Sentiment also helps developers as well through the Sentiment API, allowing them to fetch data for their integration on their specific platforms. In terms of the history about Sentiment, Sentiment has also been in the data analytics space since 2014. So we can say that they are one of the OGs in the space. They were able to establish themselves as one of the pioneers in the area of cryptometrics and analytics. Now let's go over some key features of Sentiment. So first one is the on-chain analytics. So on-chain analytics, in its simplest form, are an array of tools that provide details about a token's transactions, network activity, and even whale activities. So for this example, we can see here the price, the price metric, the volume, the daily active addresses. When you click on chain, you can see more parameters like the age consumed, the whale transaction count, and supply on exchanges. We will talk about more about these parameters as we do our own analysis using the different parameters in Sentiment. Now, another feature of Sentiment that is not found in some of the existing on-chain analytics is social trends. So, clicking here, social trends tab. So, this feature is, for me, I think, is often overlooked with the crypto market being largely influenced by its community. The social metrics are undoubtedly important for users to know the trend or the current narrative that is influencing the performance of a certain digital asset. So just to give you an example, so here we can see the trending words which are currently occupying the mind share of the user. So number one is blast. So here we could see the summary that the word blast is trending in the given text because of its relation to the crypto token named Blast. So Blast actually had their airdrop just yesterday. That's why it is trending. So some of the words that is trending is Velo Fun Thursday because of the event of Velo project, the word Caspa, and even BTC. So we could see here the trending words that is occupying the mind share of the users. So what they are using actually here is the social media platforms of Telegram, Twitter, and Reddit. Now, another interesting feature of Sentiment is the historical balance. So the historical balance tab actually allows users to track whales in the industry by simply entering the address and the asset to track. Users can now see how this specific address interacted with a specific asset, and if it led to a significant price action, or what was the correlation of his interaction with the price. So let's give a short example. I actually got an address here. This address is actually one of the address of Paradigm Capital, a tier 1 VC. So here we could see the red line is their balance, their ETH balance, while the yellow line is the price of ETH. So we could see that on the date of April 11, they got 79,000 ETH, and then they trimmed it on April 27, which shows that from 79 it went down to 75,000. And then one interesting data here is on the day of May 20, they trimmed a significant portion of their ETH balance coming from 75,000, trimming it down to 70,000. So it had a 5,000, they sold 5,000 of their ETH during when the price of ETH was at 3.7. And then just recently, they again sold a significant portion of their ETH balance coming from 64,000 from June 26 down to June 24, sorry, down to 45,000 yesterday. So we could see that they are really capitulating on their ETH positions. Okay. Now another feature of Santiment here is insights. If you are curious about what others might be thinking, or the analyst of Santiment is thinking, then Sentiments has an insights tab where users are able to check the analysis of the sentiment teams or even the members of the community using the parameters available in the platform. So here's an example where we could see an editorial post of Brian of Sentiment showing the market sentiment for Bitcoin, which remains very low, and it was posted on June 20. All right. Now at this portion, let's try to use sentiment and make our own analysis. So first, let's go to the chart. And for this portion, let's assume a persona of a Bitcoin investor who has an extra fund and would like to add more BTC to his portfolio. So what we would like to know is if the current price a good time to buy, and let's use some parameters in sentiment to assess if it's a good time to buy. So this is how the base dashboard would look like, showing the price of BTC through a line graph. So the next task would be to identify the metric that we would use along with price. So the first metric that I would like to use would be the supply on exchanges. So let's click apply and then zoom into the chart. So supply on exchanges is actually a measure of the amount of assets being held on centralized exchanges or even decentralized exchanges. Using this metric is pretty straightforward, as a decreasing supply of an asset indicates that the asset is either being circulated or being held by the market participant. So for this case, we can see that the supply on exchanges has been on a long-term downtrend, showing continuous demand for taking off BTC off the exchange and holding it on their personal wallets, either by an entity or by an individual. So next, let's add another metric. Let's now use age consumed. So let's click apply and then zoom into the chart, and then let's just hide supply and exchanges for a while. Now moving on to age consumed. Age consumed is a parameter that shows the amount of tokens changing addresses on a certain date, and this is multiplied by the time since they last moved. So this metric could be a good leading indicator wherein a spike on the graph shows a large movement of an asset that might lead to a significant price volatility. So for this example, we could see a major spike here on the day of May 27, which is actually connected to the Mount Gox news, wherein the Mount Gox entity transferred 140,000 Bitcoin, if I remember it correctly, towards a single wallet, if I'm not mistaken. That's why there was a spike here. And then if we would see the other spikes in the graph, for the recent spikes, we could see that the spikes in June 11 and June 21 all resulted to a negative price action for BTC. So for this metric, it could it could return us a bearish sentiment using the age consume parameter. Now for the last parameter that we would be using is the For the MBRB, I would like to use the 30-day MBRB. So let's just click apply again and zoom into the chart. And let's try to hide this age consume metric. So what is MVRB? MVRB is asset market capitalization divided by the realized capitalization. The main idea here is if market cap uses the current price multiplied by the circulating supply, the realized cap uses the acquisition cost multiplied by the circulating supply. So in simple terms, we could also look at it as it is the average profit and loss of traders over a specific time period. So here, in this example, we could see that just recently we reached the negative 9.7 MVRB ratio for the 30 days MVRB ratio, and it's currently at 6.55, negative 6.55%. And data shows that every time that we hit the negative 9%, it was actually a good region to buy as the price was followed by a significant rally or a significant bounce. So the last time that we were in this level was in the first week of May, where the price of Bitcoin was at 57,000, and then we saw it climb to as high as 71,000. And prior to it, the last time that we saw MVRB at this region was in the third week of January, where we saw the great rally of Bitcoin from 39,000 to as high as 73. And from last year, it actually the MBRB of 9.67, negative 9.67%, actually marked the local bottom at 26,000. Now, putting it all together, so let's just unhide it. Let's show it all. So putting it all together and going back to our BTC investor persona, our analysis returned us a bullish indicator in supply on exchanges, a bearish indicator in age consume, and an indication of an opportunity from the 30-day MVRB ratio. So if we mix it all together, this then gives us a result of two bullish indicators out of the three, which could be enough for our persona to start and buy BTC in tranches on these prices. And I think that would be it for me for my BTC analysis using Santiment. I believe Slava has prepared his own analysis for Ethereum. So let's move on to Slava for his Ethereum analysis.
Sure, Steph. Thanks very much for your presentation. Give me a second. I will turn on my presentation as well. But overall, Steph, yeah, what do you think about there was a spike, a drop, significant drop from in supply on exchanges of Bitcoin? I think there is one obvious event which is can be connected to this. It's EDF launch, basically, and due to this, we had seen a long consolidation and a significant drop of Bitcoin held on exchanges, because a lot of institutional, first of all, investors had a chance to buy basically
I see.
Bitcoin, and it was withdrawn from exchanges. And overall, talking about the Bitcoin, we can see that all metrics show more bullish trends right now on Bitcoin. However, let's take what the situation on Ethereum, because what I can say on Ethereum, it's a bit more different than it's right now on Bitcoin. So let me turn on my screen. So yeah, here it is, a graph of Ethereum, and I offer basically to continue the thought which was offered by Steph. If the investor wants to purchase some Ethereum into his portfolio, he has some free capital, he wants to utilize it, and let's go through the same metrics which we had. Let's start with supply on exchanges and see what is happening here with Ethereum. So as you can see, supply on exchanges is just steadily growing through the year. And if you will take a look, since the beginning of this year, it grew almost twice comparing to Bitcoin. So in the beginning of this year, it was around 10 million Ethereum stored on exchanges. Right now, it's 19 million, almost 19 million Ethereum stored on exchanges. And that's a really interesting point to see, because we believe that this is happening due to ETF, which has been prepared right now and can be launched soon. And I think we will see almost the same as we see with Bitcoin, a significant drop in reserves on exchanges, because institutionals will start to buy, but we will see it later. I think this year, this summer, when ETF will be already traded, and we will see some results of it. But as you can see, it's just a steady growing trend for Ethereum. Even the movements in supply are not as correlating with the price as it could seem. So it just grows. So exchanges are just people are just returning their capital on exchanges and preparing to sell, basically. The next metric at which we will look once more, it's H consumed, and Steph has already covered what is it. So this it shows basically a big transfers of Ethereum through wallets multiplied by time. So basically that shows how actively Ethereum can move. And we see much more spikes here as for Bitcoin. And the price fluctuations are usually connected to volume fluctuations. And let's take a look just at last ones. And I think the last one, 11th of June, is the same as Steph presented for Bitcoin. So the reasons are the same for it. And we had seen a major price fluctuation with it connected to it here. So basically, we see that right now Ethereum is not as actively probably traded. I think we can let's increase our timeline, maybe to the mid of previous year, but I believe mid previous year is much larger timeline here. So yes, as we can see right now, we show you. So the largest fluctuations was in September 2023, but this was a long time ago. Ethereum price was, I think, almost at the lowest for a long time, and it was local minimum. People were buying Ethereum. I know that I think Grayscale, they have average price of buying Ethereum around like 1,800, like $1,800 like $2,000. It's the average price of their portfolio, and they have around $20 billion in Ethereum already stored. And also, as you can see, after the price started growing and the market began recovering, exchanges also started to basically pile up. People started to return capital on exchanges, and exchanges itself started to pile up to the Ethereum. And I think we will see something really soon, because a lot of Ethereum is stored on exchanges. So almost 20 million Ethereums are stored there. That's a large amount. And I think the next metric at which we can look is MVRV. So I think I will just put overall, it's, I believe, yearly MVRV. So it just shows a more general picture. Basically, once more, it's market capitalization divided by realized capitalization. So basically, it shows the ratio between the current price and the average price of acquisition of every coin. And we see is that right now this difference is gross, for instance, basically, and that's can indicate that the valuation is moving basically closer to the average acquisition cost here, and the current MVRV ratio is relatively low, which can offer indicate buying opportunity as well. However, with Ethereum, so while we were looking at Bitcoin from Steph, basically all indicators were showing more bullish trend overall, with possibility to buy or we are not the financial advisors here. It's important to understand, but basically it's your decision. But the market was showing that there is a possibility to buy, to enter the position. However, with Ethereum, we see the large consolidation of users on exchanges. People are preparing to sell and expecting a lot from Ethereum right now. And I think we will see some large changes closer to fall. But I think that's probably what usually happens in the markets, because buy on May and go away seems to be a best strategy for a long time. Sell in May, why buy? Sell in May and go away, and then you can buy through summer. I think that's what also works in this year as well. We had seen the fall in the price. The latest fall in the price was in right in the beginning of this month and in the end of May. So that's what happened, and I think it will change in autumn. So yes, that's, I think, the overview overall of Ethereum. So basically, as I said, Ethereum shows more mixed results here. So it is hard to say what will happen to Ethereum. Of course, we all believe in its growth, and there is some reasons to do so. Also, we think that a lot of liquidity will be put in the markets after the ETF will start trading. However, there is a possibility that something close to Bitcoin will happen when like funds like Grayscale will sell the large portion of their portfolio to retail investors, basically to institutionals as well, to those who were not able to basically buy Ethereum the simple, and they will sell just with large margins for them and fixate their profits. However, for market, it will be just basically a large dump of Ethereum. But yes, that's, I think, what may happen. So I think that's probably it regarding sentiment for today. Steph, what do you think overall about today's situation on the market, on Bitcoin and Ethereum? Like this difference that Ethereum is just accumulating, people just returning it to exchanges, like as you can see, through all the year, and they are really actively doing it. What do you think about it?
I think for Bitcoin, it's pretty straightforward. Like for every dip, it could be an opportunity to buy. While for Ethereum, actually, your findings was interesting, especially on the parameter of the supply on exchanges. So we could see right there that starting from January to, I don't know if it's an all-time high or just a 52-week high on the supply on exchanges. But seeing that parameter is quite concerning, as there's always that possibility of holders of Ethereum holders to be dumping their Ethereum on exchanges. So
I think,
it's
Steph,
a
we can
very
take
good
a
parameter.
look. We can take a look at larger scale. What is situation here? And as you can see, it's not all-time high, but is, I think, one of the peaks.
Hmm.
So if you will
Yep,
take,
it's a 52-week high for the supply on exchanges.
yeah, let's check once more. Yeah, it's, I think, even more. It's, yeah, it's a bit more even, like 1.5 year high.
Hmm.
But yeah, and it still grows. There is no sign of stopping it. It's
Right.
just gradually grows, and that's a bit. It shows its, I think, concerns here.
I
It's
think
really
what
interesting to see.
investors could wait for is for the approval of the ETF. If we could see how the ETF approval of BTC impacted the supply on exchanges for BTC, it had a significant sharp drop after after the ETF was approved and after the ETF was active in the market. So let's see. I think it's on July 3, if I'm not mistaken. The speculations on the start of the trading of the Ethereum ETFs. So if it would push through, let's see on what would happen on the supply on exchanges, if it would have a sharp drop or it would continue to go up and continue to be a concern for Ethereum holders.
Yeah, just trying to, also looking at the graph right now overall. Uh, yeah, agree, Steph. That's like Ethereum ETF for sure. It's the date at which we everything everyone looks at. But like from standpoint of supply and exchanges, Ethereum right now has, uh, I believe it's not even that small amount. I think it's not even half. It's more than a half of all-time high right now. So the all-time high supply of exchanges was almost 30 mils. Right now it's like almost 20 already. So it's a more logarithmic scale here. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's,
And then just to add, uh, if we would see ultrasound money, so it's not part of Santiment now, ultrasound money where it shows the current Ethereum is actually the supply of Ethereum increased by 46,258 ETH, and this is caused by the low activity on ETH. So this is an additional concern as we see Ethereum as a deflationary asset, but uh, on the long term, it's still deflationary since the implementation of ETH 2.0. But for the short term, it's actually inflationary. So it's another concern for Ethereum holders.
yeah, that's true. So I think there is some drop in activity for sure for Ethereum, but I think it might change with mm, more active emergence of. In part, I think it's like a strange thought. I think I need to double check it technically, but basically after the Duncan update, which we had, fees dropped significantly on layer twos. I think
Hmm.
that's the activity itself isn't went from Ethereum, but the activity basically for Ethereum as an asset fallen
Right.
due to basically the drop in transaction prices, etc. I think that's in part what might happen. So basically, it's an interesting observation here as well.
Hmm.
So Yeah, let us know if there is any questions here. Uh, we are here to answer it. We can wait for a couple of minutes and answer it. So let us know if there is any questions. Hey Steph, also, what is your experience of using Sentiment overall?
Well, I actually enjoy using Sentiment, but I think one of the most interesting feature for me is the social trends. So I really like searching for what's the current narrative, or uh, what is the thing that's currently occupying the mind space of the users in the space.
Yes,
So for
that's
here, actually, I was surprised about Velo Fun Thursday and Caspa, as I'm not actually aware of these projects. So after our discussion today, I would be searching for them to look why they are trending right now.
yes, that's true. That's really interesting feature. I haven't seen it in many places, and I think that's really important for those who are in the markets to keep track of it, to see it, and that's. I'm really curious how they basically technically implement this.
Right.
How do they take a guess of whole market basically of people speculating and talking? That's really interesting.
And the social narrative is a bit subjective, so it's really interesting on how they were able to build this sort of platform that puts a subjective topic into a more objective based data.
Yeah, yeah. So it's behavioral analysis. I think that's what it's called. So
Right.
behavioral analytics, and that's really valuable data for everyone who is trying to make a move in Web3 here. So that's true. Don't see any questions for now. Mm, so probably I think we can wrap up this meeting. We will share the article. We have the article with all these metrics covered with the analysis which we showed here with our source already structured in one place. So if you're interested to return to it, take a look at it. We'll share it later. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. See you next week on uh, next market research. Thanks, Steph, for presenting. And
Sure.
so, yeah, thank you very much. Have a
Thank
great
you,
day,
everyone.
everyone.